Hello everybody, this is FIDE Master Dalton Perrine from chessuniversity.com, and this is another video in the Tactics Time video series that we're doing here today. Once again with this video series, I'm going to be working on solving different tactics trainer positions here on chess.com. With each of the positions, I'm going to first of all show you the tactic. That way I'll give you the chance to pause the video so you can work on solving the problem yourself, and then I'll be explaining my thought process as I solve the problem, and then showing you the solution to the puzzle. So without any more further ado, let's go ahead and do some tactics here. So we're going to start and see what the computer gives us. Okay, so in this position here, white has just made the move pawn up to h4. It is black's move at the moment. Go ahead and pause the video and see what you can come up with for black here. Okay, so in this position, it is black's move right now. So again, as always, I know I've repeated it almost every video so far. With every position, we're always going to start off looking at our forcing moves. Checks, captures, then threats. At the moment, I don't really see any checks that do anything special. Queen a3 check, obviously the knight takes us back. Queen a1 check, the knight takes us. Queen b1, queen b2. All these squares around here, we're just going to get captured. If we do queen takes c2, this is pretty much just a trade. Queen takes c2, queen takes back, bishop takes, rook takes, and I don't see the follow-up there. We might have like bishop e3 check there, but the king will get to move away because the queen's not on the board anymore. Now, then next we would look at captures. Two different captures I see here that I haven't listed yet. Bishop takes c2 as a capture, and bishop takes f2 as a capture. I don't really see any point behind bishop takes f2, because I feel like white's just going to take it back, and I don't see the follow-up. Bishop takes c2, though, there could be an idea. If we take the knight, the queen takes back. Now we can now there's no defender on the e3 square, and also the queen's move, so bishop e3 check would be a new forcing move. So this is bishop takes c2, queen takes rook, bishop e3 check. It looks like the rook would have to take or block on d2, and I guess we'd win the exchange. Rook takes e3, trade on c2, take on e3, we win the exchange. So that seems pretty good. Is there anything better than that? Because it feels like just winning the exchange here is not as much as we'd like it to be. So sometimes when you're looking at tactics, if you aren't getting an answer, or you feel like you're getting an answer that's maybe not as strong as you think it should be, one of the biggest things you can do to improve your tactical capabilities is by simply switching the move order around. Sometimes instead of doing move number A first, then move B, try move B first, then move A. So in this case, what if we do bishop e3 first? If we do bishop e3 first, if the knight captures on e3, the knight's no longer protecting the a1 square, and we could play queen a1 checkmate. So that's actually a nice little sequence there. If bishop e3, it looks like, well, obviously the queen's pinned, so we're threatening like queen takes c2 or bishop takes queen. If the rook takes on e3, we can take back, still attacking the queen and attacking the knight. And again, if the queen takes on e3, we can take on c2. So it looks like bishop e3 is even stronger than just bishop takes c2, then bishop e3. With that route, where we take the knight first and then check, we win the exchange. But if we go bishop e3 first, we win the exchange, and after the pawn captures back, we're also going to pick up the knight on f2 as well, it looks like. So let's go for it. Bishop e3, the rook has to take, obviously. We take back. It's showing the knight capturing the pawn. Now the knight's not defending the a1 square, and we get the checkmate on a1. So that's kind of a situation where if you see a good move, look for a better move. Kind of sit on your hands in a way. If you don't see a better move, then of course play your good move. But in this case, we found a better continuation that actually wins us either more material or, in this case, gets us checkmate. So that's pretty good. Okay, let's check out our next position. Okay, so in this position here, it is black's move right now. White has just made the move queen to e2. Go ahead and pause the video and see what you can come up with for black in this position. Okay, so in this position here, again, we're going to look for our forcing moves. The only checks I see right now are knight takes f3 and queen to g4. Queen g4 obviously loses the queen. That doesn't feel very good. Knight takes f3, the knight or queen are going to take back. Probably the knight, I guess, would be the safest. And I guess we can get the check on g4 when the knight takes back, but I feel like we're getting rid of one of our good attackers around the king if we do that. Because knight takes f3, knight takes back, queen g4, you know, I guess king f1. I don't see, I guess even king h1, queen h3, knight h2. I think that white's going to be able to defend perfectly fine there. Now, in this case, we've talked in some of the other videos about critical squares, which are pieces or pawns that are attacked the same number of times they're defended. f3 in this case is a critical square. There's two attackers, as we've seen, and there are two defenders, the queen and the knight. We can make the move here. One move I'm considering is rook takes d2 here. There's obviously a lot of different ways white can capture back, but we can kind of rule out some of those pretty quickly. If the queen takes back on d2, well, then we can simply play knight takes f3, forking the king and the queen, and that will, you know, win us the game. If the bishop takes back, we can still do knight takes f3, and I think we're going to get a checkmate right around here. White can only go to g2 or to f1. If the king goes to f1, we have queen h1 checkmate, so that's simple. If the king goes to g2, we have queen g4, and then after the king moves either way, queen h3 will be checkmate. And I think it's the same thing if the rook takes back. Rook takes d2, rook takes back, knight takes f3, followed by either queen h1 or queen g4 to h3, which is going to get us a mate. So I believe it's rook takes d2, knight takes f3. Okay, in this case it says, you know, it's giving, you know, having white give up the queen. Well, that's good for us either way. But even if the king had moved, if the king comes up to g2, we can check on g4. King goes back to f1. And then queen g1 is mate, or queen h3 is mate, because the knight covers e1. And if the king goes to f1 right now, queen h1 is checkmate. So the main idea here is removing the defender of the critical square. Rook takes d2, and then we're either going to win big material like we did in when the queen gives herself up, or we're going to checkmate white, which is also pretty good. Okay, so that's it for this couple of tactics here. The main idea in these two is mainly focusing on forcing moves, of course, and looking for critical squares, removing the defender of critical squares, and different things like that. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. I'll see you guys around in a future video for chessuniversity.com, and I will talk with everybody again in the future.